Hello world, I'm Nick Proud and you're listening to episode 5 of the RPA show. Today I'm joined by very special guest Selçuk Kezelto. First, I want to give you a short message about our podcast provider today, which is Nextbotics. This podcast is brought to you by Nextbotics. Nextbotics is a managed service provider for robotic process automation. They provide professional services to suit your business rules to the letter, with a simple-to-use portal allowing you to interact with your bots and monitor the return on investment gained from automation. They're also lowering the barrier of entry for smaller businesses looking to automate their processes with pay-as-you-go transactional and consumption-based pricing, avoiding the need to fork out thousands for RPA licensing and RPA developers. For more information about Nextbotics, head over to nextbotics.com and I'll put a link in the description for YouTube viewers and podcast listeners alike. And so now let's get on with the show and let's talk to our special guest Selçuk, who is from Robusta.ai. Welcome to the show.
Hello everyone, and hello Nick. Thank you for inviting me this exciting show.
It's an absolute pleasure. I think we're going to have a really interesting conversation about automation. So I want to go straight into it. Just tell me about yourself. What's your sort of background in the space?
Okay, great. So my name is Selçuk, as Nick mentioned. You can call me Sel for short. I know it's sometimes hard to pronounce Turkish names. For about 10 years, I have worked with technology companies, mostly startups. So far, I have helped the growth processes of these companies that provide solutions in different areas, such as cloud services, web and mobile analytics, database management, and edtech. Now I'm in the Robusta Cognitive Automation team. My mission is to help the growth of our company in the global market to contribute to the digital transformation of even more organizations using RPA and AI technologies. So how did I get into RPA? I have always been interested in automation and AI. When I met with RPA technology, I saw how effective these two fields could be together. While researching this topic further, I met with Robusta Cognitive Automation and saw how passionate the team is about RPA development. So I decided to be a part of this team.
Awesome. That's really cool. And so, I guess the passion is the key word there, isn't it? It becomes a kind of mission, doesn't it? It becomes
exactly.
a real, you start to see processes which just could be automatic. Why are we spending our time, manually, repetitively performing these tasks? And on the subject of a mission, I guess once you joined Robusta, you were able to sort of be instrumental in mapping that mission out. That must have been really exciting.
Exactly. I can see now I can see the future of this technology, where it can go in terms of as a solution to the large businesses and even small businesses.
So would you say that you're trying to cast the net quite wide? You're not just targeting a small business, but you're looking at pretty much the whole industry. You're looking at small to large businesses.
Yes, exactly. Our mission is to make available this technology to everyone.
Okay. And so tell me more specifically about Robusta's mission. What's been its position recently and going forward in terms of mission?
Robusta is an RPA company that has been providing software solutions in robotic process automation since 2017. It's based in Turkey and has a branch office in Amsterdam. Robusta's mission is to make automation available to every organization and enable them to automate their processes without needing a developer. To achieve that, we develop our product with a no-code approach so that everyone can use it easily and effortlessly.
Okay, cool. So it's very much based on packages of logic, packages of commands that you can sort of drag and drop into into a flow. Yeah, that's cool. And when you say no code, is it strictly no code, or is there any sort of ability to enter any sort of code?
Strictly no code.
Strictly no code. Okay, cool. Because a lot of the time, sometimes it's difficult to see the the difference between the no code and the low code element, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what can often start as a no code solution that we often see in RPA can quite often spill into low code. I've seen that before, where we suddenly have to write some code. But that's quite interesting to see that it is stricter. So one of the things I was really interested in when I was taking a look at Robusta is that you have quite a lot on your website and your literature about the cognitive capabilities of the software. So in RPA at the moment, OCR, optical character recognition, and machine learning, these are the big buzzwords that are sort of knocking about in the industry. So could you tell me a bit more about those sort of capabilities from a Robusta perspective?
Sure. Great point. We actually enable users to design more complex and less rule-based processes using Robusta RPAs, AI-powered bots, integrated with third-party cognitive services provided by Google and Microsoft.
Okay.
These unique capabilities include optical character recognition, OCR in short, text analytics, document processing, content recognition, and machine learning. For example, the machine learning functions of Robusta enable intelligent bots to make their own decisions while learning to roll as the users import more and more workflow scenarios. As a result, the organizations using the machine learning functions with their RPA can achieve a fully automated process. The result is intelligent process automation, actually, IPA in short, the future of RPA technology, and IPA is one of our hottest topics in product development. Another usage example of the cognitive capabilities is the use of OCR, optical character recognition, which is a technology that captures handwritten and printed texts in images as unstructured data and converts them into characters readable by machines as structured data. Robusta's intelligent bot OCR functionalities are used in different industries such as finance, HR, and healthcare. For example, another example, combining RPA with OCR capabilities enables finance leaders to automate tasks such as extracting the relevant data from invoices and matching these invoices to purchase orders and offers. It's a great example for the finance industry.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's one that I find myself working on quite a lot. Is the finance use cases and matching data is a huge part of the market. And I'd be really interested to understand a bit more about the intelligent automation aspect, because more conventionally for me, when I'm developing bots, they usually do pretty much everything I tell them to do. It's very explicit. Whereas, are you saying that you're trying to make it so that the decision making is placed more on the bot independently, so it learns from previous decisions, or is it still very much the developer or the person programming it that makes those decisions for the bot?
We try to make bots make their own decisions, learning from scenarios that the RPA designers put in the workflows. So even further in the future, our bots with intelligent capabilities can make their own decisions and learn about the errors they achieve in the workflow.
Okay. And I guess, has that been a difficult process to implement? Because I guess one of the issues that I would have is that you'd want to make sure that those decisions were good ones, wouldn't you? You'd want to make sure that the bot was truly learning from what it's been processing. So has that been a difficult journey?
Actually, yes, sometimes, but we are trying to find new ways to achieve these problems and make things more smarter to achieve those errors in the process.
Okay. And another thing that is readable on your website is this concept of merging robotic process automation with business process automation, or BPA, as we would normally refer to it. So, and this is part of your design studio, so that no code element. So can you talk a little bit more about that combination of RPA and BPA?
Mhm. Yes, this is a topic that where most people misguided about this details, about the details. Okay, so first let's distinguish the two terms, RPA and BPM, and what they represent. First of all, RPA is an application, as you know, the application of technology governed by business logic and structured inputs to automate business processes. So the focus of RPA is the automation of high volume tasks using bots. On the other hand, BPM is an approach to streamlining business processes for efficiency, and we can use it to visualize how processes are operating. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the focus of BPM is to manage entire business processes from end to end.
Yeah.
This is the difference between two terms. Many people, by the way, believe that RPA automates processes end to end like BPM software. However, RPA is a technology and BPM is a discipline.
Yeah.
There is a huge difference between them.
Yeah.
But BPM is an approach to optimize and automate business processes from start to finish. On the other hand, RPA is a technology that deals with repetitive tasks completed by bots, in the summary. Luckily, with no-code approach, Robusta Cognitive Automation, users have the opportunity to experience BPM and RPA combined, resulting in modern workflow design, increased productivity, and decreased bottlenecks and accurate results. Designing an RPA process with Robusta like drawing a workflow on Microsoft Visio.
Yes.
Or designing a flow chart in a flow chart tool.
So I guess, yeah, so that's really interesting. So I guess that the BPM element is more high level, isn't it? It's looking at the process from a business perspective and saying, you know, this is the beginning of it. This is how we reach the end. And within that are segments of RPA, which is the more technical aspect, which is saying these are the actual repetitive processes that the bot is actually carrying out. So that's a really useful definition, actually, because you're right. RPA is kind of used as an umbrella term across everything. But then when we think about, I mean, again, from the work that I do in this space, it is very much focused on business processes end to end. And it's very easy to say, oh, it's an RPA process. Well, no, it's just a part of the overall BPM process. So yeah, I really like that definition. And it sounds like your focus is very much on understanding like I say, the overall business rules, the overall goal. And yeah, that's really useful. So tell me more about the design studio itself then. It's, you know, obviously within RPA, we've got so many different tools, we've got so many different low code and no code solutions. So yeah, tell me a little bit more about yours specifically.
Actually, we already started defining the design studio by defining the BPM features of the Robusta. Design studio is a space where users can create RPA processes and manage them all without needing an RPA developer. The no-code approach of the design studio enables everyone to create their automation processes easily with a single drag and drop. This is the product that we invest our resources most in. Users can also test and monitor their processes using the design studio. And another great feature of the design studio is you can save your design processes and copy them and save them for later use in other similar processes. And you can save them also as templates to use in similar tasks later.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of like a must-have, isn't it, for most RPA software these days, where we call it the cookie cutter approach, where we say, you know, there's so many different recyclable elements. Why would we not use them again? So I think I spend a lot of my time trying to look through code and saying, well, I could use this again somewhere. I'm sure I could.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's awesome that you're doing that, and doing that in relation to an overall business process is so valuable. And people can see the return on investment just from that. You know, once you've built something and you can just use it again, it just slots in. It's fantastic. So talking about business processes then, I'm always really interested to learn about specific use cases. You know, it's always fascinating to me to see what industries people are using RPA in, what specific processes they're using they're automating, sorry. So can you talk a bit more about those use cases that customers of Robusta are currently implementing?
Yeah. Actually, we have nearly 100 customers for now, with approximately 1,250 designed processes with these 100 customers. Let me give you 2 use case examples from our recent customers.
Okay.
Let's begin with the first one. The first use case that I want to share with you is from a security company, which needs to inform local police departments about their employees working in the same area. This process is very time consuming and mandatory, and they have to inform the local policies to say that my employee will work in this, for example, mall to secure this shop today. The police need to know that information. However, with a combination of cognitive services and our bots, the company reduced the processing time by 2 to 3 times per employee.
Awesome.
Robusta's bots sends all the necessary information to the local police department during the office hours, for sure. Each time a security employee changes their working location or a new employee onboarding to the company, Robusta's bots sends the same notifications and information to the relevant sources.
That's really cool. That's a new one for me. I've never heard of anything like that. That's really, exactly. I like that.
Let me give you another example, another use case from our one of other recent customers. This one is an asset management firm with hundreds of employees assessing the real estate acquired as part of debt collection. They utilize various data sources such as their internal database, the public city directory, the government's public data sources, and different real estate listing websites to estimate the exact value of the real estate assets. Then they need to transfer the compiled data to their internal system, which is a manual and time-consuming process. After implementing our RPA design, the company achieved success in its processes in terms of time and cost. Robusta's bots retrieve data from public sources, match them on Google Maps using the coordinations, and overlay additional information of nearby essential points such as hospitals, schools, bus and subway stops, and shopping malls. These all affect the cost of the real estate, as you know. Bots also consider the prices from real estate listings, websites, and their historical data. The result is higher success rates in estimating the actual value of the assets and nearly 8% saving in time spent. That's huge.
That is huge. You know, it is very big, and that goes back to the concept we were talking about earlier about matching data and using external sources. That's a really powerful element of RPA, isn't it? Being able to just, you know, at the drop of a hat, gather data from lots of different sources and use that to make a decision, and also shape your internal data. I imagine as well that also lends itself really well to the machine learning aspect, because once you've gathered lots of different sources together, you have a model that you can start doing things like prediction. You can start evaluating trends, and there's just so much you could do based on those original data gathering exercises. So yeah, that's another use case that I've not seen actually is being able to, I mean, I've seen some use cases where companies have been delivering quotes using RPA, but they're a lot less detailed than the one that you've just pointed out, where, you know, the asset prices are being governed by lots of different factors. So that's really interesting. So following on from that, then obviously some of those use cases are quite complex. You know, what are the challenges that you've had to overcome in general as an RPA business?
Great question. Yeah, actually some myths are widely known as truth in the business world when it comes to robotic process automation. Unfortunately, these are the top challenges we had to overcome, and we still frequently encounter them. For example, some people think that RPA bots will take their jobs.
That's the big one.
Yeah, the big one, yeah. However, bots exist to increase our efficiency and effectiveness, not to replace us.
Yeah.
It's a fact that some professions will not exist after automation in the future, but not in the near future, very near future. But new career fields will also emerge in the future, such as RPA analyst, RPA developer, or RPA operations manager.
Yeah,
these
definitely.
are the new skills that people have to learn and acquire. Another challenge that we encounter is that some businesses leaders think that implementing an RPA solution is very expensive. However, there are many different purchasing models for RPA today. RPA providers aim to introduce RPA to companies on digital transformation with many different payment types, such as licensing, a periodic rental, and pay-as-you-go. Moreover, if you can correctly identify and implement your organization's automated process, the investment costs will quickly become financial benefits, as you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think I would totally agree with you that those are the biggest challenges in the RPA field at the moment is the myths around the dangers of automation. I think people hear the term bot and they automatically think of Terminator or something like that, something like some crazy Hollywood AI that's going to take away everything from us. It's so much more dramatic than the actual
reality. There are many people thinking about real bots that like machines will do their jobs in front of their computer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think even the intelligent automation aspect that you guys are trying to specialize in, you could argue that that's closer to the scary element, but it's still miles away from the real fears, which is that it's going to completely take over. Like you say, this opens up new avenues for people to skill up. I mean, obviously people will have to make a transition. But this is not a new thing. There's always been automation has been around for thousands of years, and this is just a new type of it. So I think it resonates with me quite a lot that you guys are having those challenges, and I think for me as well, maybe from a pre-sales perspective, when it comes to speaking to prospective clients, it's really difficult to make the concept of a bot not vague. When I say, oh, the bot will do X, Y, and Z, they can't really picture it. And so it makes the challenge of demoing that functionality even more apparent. And so I think it sounds like we've had a lot of the same challenges in our work.
Exactly.
So talking about the wider industry, what sort of industry trends do you think we're going to see in the future in terms of RPA?
Okay, we can talk about two issues where we will see a lot of improvement in RPA in the future. The first one is intelligent automation, and the other is the RPA Center of Excellence. We already talked about the intelligent automation. Of course, the hottest topic will be the intelligent automation with the development of artificial intelligence technology. Intelligent automation will continue combining RPA and artificial intelligence to empower end-to-end process. RPA automates different business functions. I will talk about another issue. RPA automates different business functions, including HR, IT, and customer service. This multidisciplinary approach will lead businesses to migrate their RPA functions to a single center of excellence, COE we call it in short, to tackle all RPA-related tasks. So sure, we will hear more about the term COE. Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing that a lot at the moment as companies are starting to understand that concept, and they're starting to say things like, we need to build a center of excellence. And that's, it's probably something they wouldn't have said a couple of years ago. And so it's great to see that that's coming into the
vernacular, that's becoming a standardized, understood term, isn't it? Which is great.
Exactly. We can talk about it later in another session.
Oh yeah, like I say,
it's a huge topic.
I think, I would really love to do a show just about Center of Excellence, and I think it'd be really good to talk to you about that. That'd be really cool.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's been really interesting to talk about Robusta, to talk about how you guys are tackling the ever-growing industry of RPA. So, what's the future for you guys? What's your current roadmap?
We are currently focusing on investments and resources on cognitive and no-code features in the following years. We will continue to develop features on these issues and provide our users with an RPA environment that will enable them to create process most easily. That's our main focus in the near future.
So it's going to be a heavy focus on the more AI-based things within automation, which is, I think it makes sense. I think that's where we're starting to break new ground, because we've spent a lot of time working on the more I don't want to use the term dumb. I mean, it's like the explicit programming of saying to the bot, if this condition is true, do this exact action. We're moving away from that now to things like you've said, the bot being able to learn from previous processing runs and all that sort of stuff. And that's a very exciting new, exciting new journey I think we're all going on. So before we wrap up then, so, where can we reach you? Where can we reach your team? And if we wanted to get started with Robusta, what would be the best way? Where would be the best place to start?
Okay, you can visit our website at robusta.ai. And you can also send me an email if you want some more information, even a demo for you, for industry-based demos we can take. You can share my email with the audience.
Sure, I can do that. Awesome. Yeah, I'll put that in the description for the podcast for sure. Awesome. Okay, well, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I think you guys are doing some really interesting things, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. And like you say, I think there's a lot more to talk about. It was very, very much a high level view of the upcoming RPA trends. So I look forward to discussing those with you further. So thank you, Selçuk, for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And if you've got any views on what we've been talking about, or you've got any questions, send those into the show. But until next time, keep automating. Take care.